So, good evening, Year 11 and Year 11 parents. I want to wish you all a very happy new year, although it's perhaps not the start to 2021 that most of us wanted. I hope it's gone well so far and that you're engaging well with your remote learning and making progress in each of your subjects. As I'm sure you'll know, the government have announced recently that all GCSE and A-level exams have been cancelled this year, which means your GCSE grades will not be awarded in the way that they normally are. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about, firstly, why this is and what the implications of it are for you and for the rest of this year, and hopefully allay any concerns or fears that you might have about this or any anxiety you might have about this, and make you feel like you've got a clear plan for the year ahead. Linked to this, I'll also talk to you about your mock results and what the next steps should be following these. Okay, so we know that the government have been quite clear all year that they wanted exams to go ahead in the normal way. They really didn't want to cancel them, and I think this is clear, but they've decided to do this, they've had to do this as a kind of last resort really, given the introduction of this most recent lockdown. So it's important to realise though that although exams were also cancelled last year, the situation is very different now. The situation we're in this year compared to last year is very different. Last year, exams had to be cancelled because the Year 11 students and the Year 13 students were not physically able to be in school to sit them. Schools were closed throughout the summer term, so it was impossible for students to be able to actually sit their exams. This year, that's not the case. This year, the hope is that you'll actually be back physically in school after February half term or not too long after that. The reasons that they've had to cancel exams this year is slightly different. The reason is because there's now so much disparity between the student experience of students in different parts of the country. So, for example, in some parts of the country, Year 11 students have had to be off school for months now because either their school has had to send whole year groups home or they've had to self-isolate for extended periods of time. So it's different in different parts of the country. It's slightly different for us. Here at KAA, we've not actually been affected in quite as strong a way as some students have in the rest of the country. But the thinking is really now that to require all Year 11 students to sit exactly the same exams and measure their progress in this way would actually be unfair. So instead, they're looking at other ways now to decide your GCSE grades. It's really important to be clear that you are still getting your full set of GCSEs. Perhaps rather than thinking that your exams have been cancelled, it might actually be more helpful for you to think about the way you're going to be assessed for these GCSEs has changed. Formal public exams are going to be replaced instead with something that allow you fairly, you and other Year 11 students in the country, fairly to show how much you've learned and how much progress you've made. So rather than thinking exams have been cancelled, you are still getting your full set of GCSEs. Instead, just think about how they're being assessed has changed. So what will they be replaced with? What does this actually look like? Well, I'll be honest with you, we are still not quite 100% clear on exactly what they're going to be replaced with yet. The exams regulator, called Ofqual, are the people that decide how exams are going to run. And they're said to be issuing some more guidance this week so that schools and students and parents are a bit clearer about the plans they can make for the year. Okay, but for the moment, so far we've been told that teacher assessment will play quite a big part in deciding your GCSE grades. Now, this is what happened last year. Teachers looked quite carefully at all of the work students had produced. The test results they'd got across the course of the year, their classwork, their homework, their coursework, any evidence that the teachers had that showed what level students were working at. And they used all of this information to decide if the student was to go ahead and sit the exam in real life as normal, what grade would we expect them to get? Okay, now, it wasn't based on teacher opinion, so it wasn't behaved on behaviour points or anything like that. It was purely based on the evidence that teachers had about the work that students were doing. Now, I don't think it will be exactly the same this year. As mentioned above, you know, we're actually much earlier on in the year. It's a different situation this year in comparison to last year. So Ofqual, the exams regulator, will really want to ensure that there's lots of standardising, that it's fair between schools in different parts of the country. But we do know that teacher assessment will play a part. So this means for you now that the work you're producing, the results you have and will get across the remainder of this year, on any assessments, on any classwork, on any homework, on any projects, on any portfolios of work you've got, may be used to help your teachers generate a teacher assessment grade for you. But like I say, exactly what the details of that are, at the moment we're still unclear about, so we're awaiting information, more information this week. What is clear, and you know what we are saying as your teachers, what the government are saying, what Ofqual, the exams regulator, are saying to you really clearly, is that the most important thing now is that you must continue to fully engage with your education. So this means attending all remote lessons, completing all lesson work and homework tasks you're set to the best of your ability, to take on all the additional learning opportunities you have, to engage with revision. Okay, and that message is coming through really clearly from anybody involved in deciding how the GCSEs will operate this year. You can see in this quote from the chief regulator, from the head of Ofqual, he's making it very clear that students must be fully engaging with their education now. He says this will put you in the best position, whatever the arrangements are made for how your qualifications are decided. So please take that message and listen to it carefully. So this is kind of a good opportunity really for a sort of personal reflection, for you to think about, okay, well, what does this mean for me right now? And you need to ask yourself this: so how proud of the work that you're producing at the moment are you? Okay, what grade? So if you had to put yourself in your teacher's position and you had to give yourself a teacher assessed grade on the work that you're now doing, what would it be? So if this grade isn't what you want to achieve in the end, if that's not what you want your final GCSE grade to be, then now is the time to be doing something about it. Okay? It's really important that you hear that message clearly. So I know a natural question for lots of you to now ask is, will your mock results, so these are the exams you sat in November, will your mock results count towards your final GCSE grades? Well, my honest answer to that at the moment is I'm not completely sure. My assumption is that they won't be the only thing that contributes towards your grade. Your mocks were quite a while ago, and on their own, in my opinion, are not really a fair representation of what you're capable of achieving. However, I need to be really clear, I can't be 100% sure about this. It may be that your mocks are used as part of the evidence that teachers collect to decide a teacher assessed grade. We're hoping you have lots more opportunities to be able to show what you can do. So lots more opportunities to be able to sit assessments where you can show what you're capable of achieving. So your March mocks, for example, or smaller assessments that are set by your teachers, or maybe even smaller assessments that are set by the exam boards. Okay? Perhaps in the summer term. But, like I said earlier, we're awaiting further guidance on this before we can be 100% sure that these opportunities exist. Okay, but, you know, as far as your mock results go, they may be included in the decisions, but hopefully only one of a few things that are considered. Okay, now, regardless of that, your mock results are still really important in themselves. They give you and your parents and your teachers a sign, an indication of where you are now. And that's really important because that helps you plan for the rest of the year and make sure that you keep moving forwards. The results you'll open, so I'll give you some instructions at the end of this video about how you can actually access your mock results. But the results that you open are the actual results that you achieved in the exams in November. They're what you would have got, if you like, if those November mocks had been the real GCSE exams. Now, you may be, and I hope that this is the case for lots of you, really pleased with your results. So when you open them, you'll be thinking, yes, actually, I'm hitting my targets, or I'm I'm very close to hitting my targets in each of my subject areas. And therefore, the remainder of this year is really about refinement and making sure you keep going and you kind of tweak the bits that you're unsure about. Okay, but it gives you a nice clear plan for the rest of the year. Some of you, however, may not be pleased with your results. And it's really important, I want to make this really clear, that you still have lots of time to be able to do something about that. Okay, however, if you're not working now, and if you know that you are not engaging fully with the work that your teachers are setting you, then the results that you have opened, your mock results that you've opened from November, will be a similar set of results that you'll achieve in the end. Okay, because now is the time to be doing something about it. So, this is a personal question for you really, and only one that you can answer. The help and support is there. Your teachers will do everything they can to support you through this, but really it has to be you that decides now to make the most of the work that you're being given. So like I say, the instructions about exactly how you access your mock results will be given to you at the end of this short video. Okay, so hopefully, like I said to you earlier, there'll be lots more opportunities for you to take assessments across the remainder of this year. And although I know that people think exams are not fun, really, you want to be doing them now. You want to be making the most of every opportunity that is made available for you to show off what you can do. You want to be able to provide us with as much evidence of you working at the GCSE grade that you want to finally achieve, and assessments are a perfect opportunity to do this. So hopefully, and obviously this is caveated, really clearly by the situation with the national lockdown, etc. Our hope is that you will return to school just after, or if not too long after, the February half term. If this happens as planned, then we'll work towards your March mocks. Okay, so these are in the calendar, they're planned to happen, and hopefully if you return not too long after the February half term, this is still possible, and that will be something that we want to work towards. However, given the situation and the current rates in London, this might not be the case. If you physically don't return to school until much later than this, then we will look to introduce some assessments for you as soon as you do return. Okay, now, returning just after February half term and being able to sit your March mocks or something similar will be ideal, as it gives you a chance to be working really hard now at home through your remote teaching, working with your teachers to really make progress, and then use the March mocks or the assessment that happens as soon as you return to be able to demonstrate how much progress you've made. So if the situation in London or nationally deteriorates much more than this, and actually you're not able to return to school at all this year, which I think is highly unlikely, but just in case, if this is the situation that we find ourselves in, then please don't worry. What we'll do, instead of you sitting your March mocks or your exams in school, we will design a set of fair assessments for you to be able to sit at home. Okay, so whatever the situation we find ourselves in, we're going to give you as much opportunity as we possibly can to be able to demonstrate, for you to demonstrate how much progress you've made. Okay, so it's up to you to be doing the work now so that you can then make the most of those opportunities when they arrive. So in summary, what does this mean? Well, overall, public formal exams have been cancelled. But they are most likely, and again we're awaiting information, more guidance from Ofqual, as I've said, but they are most likely being replaced by smaller assessments that we actually have much more control over. So these might be assessments that are designed by us in school, or they might be assessments that are designed by the exam board and we get to sit them when it's right for you. But whichever situation it is, the kind of overriding message now is that there is still lots of work for you to do. And you now have a massive chance really to be able to influence the final results that you achieve by showing your teachers, look, this is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of achieving in this project or in this piece of homework or in this assessment. Okay, but that's up to you to be able to do the work now so that you can make the most of those opportunities when they arise. Okay, so what do we do from now? Well, the first thing is to be able to get your mock results, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. Then the next most important thing is that you speak to your subject teachers. Okay, they are the experts. They are the people that can advise you most of all on what's the best thing for you to do next. So over the course of the next few weeks, they will be giving you some personal priority areas of revision. Things that you as an individual need to work on most of all to be able to make progress. So they've had the opportunity now to look in detail at your mock exams, and they can see the areas that you still need to improve on. So they'll take this and they'll give you advice about resources to use and areas to revise, areas to look at, areas to revise. Okay, so please make sure that you're making the most of that advice. You need to do these things in addition to the normal classwork or lesson work, remote lessons, live lessons and homework that you're being set by your teachers. Okay, but doing those two things together will mean that you're able to plug the gaps that your mock results have suggested. So I know many of you have other worries as well, such as sixth form and college applications or coursework and pieces of NEA to complete. Please note, I need to say this really clearly, that colleges and sixth forms will treat your final GCSE grades, so the ones that you achieve at the end of this year, in the same way that they do GCSE results in any other year. So in the end, what you achieve will be treated no differently. Okay, at the moment, you might find that there are some delays, so colleges and sixth forms might be slightly delayed with their applications process. They probably won't be able to interview you in person, so there may be some delays there. But in the end, all of those things will work out in the way that they normally do. So please don't panic about that. The same thing goes for coursework or NEA at the moment. Listen to your teacher's advice about this. And as soon as we have some more information about which pieces of coursework or which pieces of NEA are important now and need to be completed now, and which will count towards your final GCSE grade and which won't. Okay, so listen to your teachers. They know best and we'll be able to give you advice on that. Okay, so last thing, your mock results. Okay, now in order to receive your mock results, you need to show that you've watched this presentation so that we know that you and your parents are clear on what these mock results mean and what the next steps should be for you personally. So in the email that you've received with this presentation on, there's also a link to a little Google questionnaire. Please can you students now complete that Google questionnaire. It will take you a maximum of 2 minutes. Once you've submitted that questionnaire, you will then be emailed your mock results within the next 24 hours, hopefully quite quickly, but within the next 24 hours. So if you don't hear from us with your mock results within 24 hours of you submitting your questionnaire, then please do let us know. Now, if you would like to talk about your mock results, if you'd like a personal conversation with either myself, Mr. Abu Baker, Miss Gannell, or somebody about your mock results in their entirety, then please let us know. Okay, we're more than happy to do that. And I know that some of you might have concerns or specific questions that you want to ask. Alternatively, remember that you can speak to your form tutors about this, and also most importantly, probably your subject teachers. Okay, so those people are best placed to give you subject-specific advice. But if you'd like to talk about your results as a whole and perhaps what this means for you in terms of college applications or next steps, then please do let us know. There's an opportunity on the Google questionnaire to be able to say that you'd like to talk to somebody. Okay, so lastly from me, thank you very much for listening. I hope that this has helped answer some of your questions. I hope you're feeling a little bit more comfortable with the arrangements for this year. As I've said, as soon as we get more information about exactly what Ofqual are saying and about exactly what the arrangements are, then we'll let you know. Okay. But if you have any questions in the meantime, please don't forget that you can email any of these people. That's myself, Mr. Abu Baker, or a general KA inquiries with the addresses that you see on the screen now. But many thanks for listening, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.